Hello friends, welcome back once again. Let us continue with the discussion pertaining to this module number 9, that is communication. Today I will talk about communication networks, that how communication is being established, is being maintained within an organization or any group based on the leadership, the task and goals of the group. So, one form of communication network is single strand or chain communication. It is very much clear from the diagram that is depicted on this slide that the information flows from one person to another in a chain, and there is a flow of information from one person to another. This nature of flowing of information within the organization based on this kind of network is known as single strand or chain communication. Under this communication pattern, the information flows from one person to the another person. It will never flow from, for example, the senior manager A can transmit the information from to the assistant manager C. It will always flow through a channel of communication that is from A, B, C and D. So, the leader, that is A, who is the senior manager, decides that what information must be transferred from one person to another. Therefore, the control is with the topmost authority or the leader, that is A. Although in this kind of information processing or communication, the flow of communication is slow, although it is linear, that it will definitely have a profile or nature from flowing transferring the information from one employee to another. It is linear, but at the same time it is slow, and that is why the further outcomes are also very much delayed or slowed in the whole process. So, this is single strand or chain communication. The other is wheel network. This network has spokes where the leader is central to the position of the network, and the leader is sharing information from to all the sides of the organization. So, in this wheel network there are spokes. Now, spokes are here, for example, manager E, B, C and D. They are the subordinates or colleagues or co-workers, and A is central to this communication network, who is the manager, and he is flowing information accordingly towards any spoke. So, this is wheel network in which the information flows from the leader, that is A, to the end of each spoke. A has full freedom to communicate whatever information he desires to with B or E or D or C. It is the leader's discretion, but the leader is in contact, is in communication with other members of the group in the wheel. So, the manager is the central authority and controls the lines of communication. Any task that has been assigned to any manager, that is, if A has assigned any task to manager B, then he has full control on the performance of the B, because he is communicating directly. The information of flow between A and B is direct, or it can be between A and E is direct, A and C is direct, and A and D is direct. So, this is wheel network where leader is the central to the whole process of communication. The circular network. This communication is a form of group exchange that builds a network of relationship. Now, as the diagram depicts on this slide, that the leader is there, but the other members has full freedom to share information with anybody in their own way. Based on the sharing of the information, they are building relationships and a sense of community, because there is approachability among all the members. Therefore, the practices of active listening, intentional speaking and conscious self monitoring or circle communication emphasizes individual contribution while building consensus to fulfill the purpose of the group. Here in the circular, the information is flowing among all the members from left to right, right to left, or even from the diagonal or direct information sharing is there, and people develop a sense of community because people have freedom to listen or speak actively towards each other member. So, in this kind of network, that is circular network, information is shared equally with the adjoining members. Maybe from one member can flow or share information with the another member sitting his next to left or next to right. So, this is circular network, and the other is Y network communication. Now, in this kind of communication, in this communication network, information is flowing from A, who is the leader, towards C, D and B, but at the same time C and D cannot interact with B. So, A is the main person who communicates or transfers the information to B, C and D, and in this network the leader can easily communicate with both superiors and subordinates. B is the subordinate, still A has full control of communication, and C and D are the subordinates themselves, or they can be higher authority as well, and still he is maintaining full communication with C and D, and B can communicate only with A. So, in this type of communication network, maybe two people are communicating with B. So, there the communication can be much stronger in comparison to communication between A and B. So, this is another pattern of network communication within organizations, that how any information flows from one person to another with different kind of network designs. The idea about discussion about this kind of communication network is that it all depends on the structure or hierarchy of the organization, that how organization has been structured, the operationalization, the functionality of the organization is all dependent on the structure, and how the higher authorities are communicating, or the lower authority or subordinates are communicating with the higher authorities so as to communicate or transfer information. But these are the general patterns that how information flows within organization from one point to another, where every member is engaged, but with different network patterns. And the other is the all channel network. In an all channel network, communication flow upward, downward and laterally among all the members of the group. Here there is no authority that is being assigned. In fact, in this kind of channel network, all members are approachable diagonally, downward or laterally, and each member is sharing information as per their requirement. So, in this kind of network communication, that is all channel network communication, all members of the group communicate with each other, and the pattern of communication supports egalitarianism, that is equality, and in sharing of information is unrestricted. So, this is the most important feature of this kind of all channel network, that is egalitarianism. And there is participative culture, since communication is open to all. So, more participation is encouraged, and there is cross functional efforts that are being put to achieve any common task or goal. Such network is available in case of informal groups, where information flow is free among all the members and people come in contact from different kind of departments within an organization itself. But this type of network communication is generally found based on informal groups, where people tend to interact informally, share information, shows more interest in different kind of activities and participate and come to a common goal or objective. So, this is basically a network communication which is very much established based on informal groups or communication. So, these are the different kind of network communication where formal and informal information is being shared by members based on authority and based on informal or casual conversation. Next comes social network. Social network is one of the recent topic when we are talking about communication in social psychology. With the advent of technological advancements, social networks has evolved one of the most important aspect of social psychology and human interaction. So, when we are talking about social network, we understand the literal meaning, but the significance is very deep, and it refers to a set of people who are connected to each other through meaningful social relationships and patterns of interaction. People get connected to special groups with whom they identify, not only identify, but they experience that there is some sort of similarity in their attitudes and beliefs, or they have diverse belief and attitudinal behaviors which a person can relate to them. So, based on these similarities in attitudes and beliefs, a person tends to join a specific group of people who share not only common attitudes and beliefs, but also larger objectives, and they are very much specific in their functionality, that they would focus only on a particular issue or problem, and one person can easily relate or identify with those groups. These are social networks. Now, this social network can be any social group, any religious group, it can be any family, which is also a very strong group where members are tied to each other and they have a specific lifestyle. So, all these kind of patterns and relationships are experienced based on social network. They can be family members, friends and neighbors. So, ties with some social network members can span for many years or for even a lifetime. For instance, any family, we have a network, we have a social network with a family throughout a lifetime. So, this is social network where we are trying to associate our own beliefs or we are growing our own beliefs while tied to the family's attitudes and belief system. In social networks such as sorority or fraternity, means any group of females, a strong group of females who are focusing only on one problem of the society, or any fraternity group of people who are like a school, or any group of people who are just focusing only on one issue to resolve or deal with, may be composed of individuals holding diverse and diverging attitudes towards those issues. So, one person can relate or associate with those kind of fraternity or sorority. Social networks can be quite influential, particularly when they introduce new strong arguments not previously encountered. We have our own belief system. Any social network that evolves and focuses on those issues, we also try to get connected to those groups, and those groups are proved to be more influential because they are not only diverse, but they also come up with some relevant issues and problems that any society or group of people would face and how it can be resolved. And there is a strong desire to fit in with those social networks which are where the membership is very rewarding and people hold similar attitudes and motivate themselves towards more attitude formation and change. This is the basic assumption of any social network. We can easily relate to the basic purpose of joining any group, but when we are talking about specially any social network, then these social networks are very much focusing on issues which are relevant to the society or to a group problem, and how people tend to change their attitude and belief while getting tied to that social network itself. So, this is the significance of network where communication is taking place, but the communication has only one direction pertaining to that issue or problem. If we talk about in general about any group, then definitely people join together to have a common objective, but in social network communication is taking place in a very straightforward fashion towards that particular issue. Further, social network members can facilitate adaptation to life stress, provide companionship and discourage health damaging behavior. They are more into providing comfort to the members where they can change their attitudes and beliefs, and more adaptability is governed by people to overcome the stress and discourage some health damaging behavior. So, it is something related to an individual's well-being, where people can have expression of their own or voice to their own opinions and beliefs. They can resolve their problems, maybe the group's problem or their own personal problems. They relate to themselves to an extent that even they can heal their mental health issues, and at the same time they experience companionship while being tied to the members of those social networks. Further, the most important thing that social psychologists have emphasized three social network functions that are believed to have distinctive effects on health and well-being. As I mentioned, that social networks have profound effect on the well-being of individuals. Now, these three distinctive features are support, companionship and control. People can have control over their behavior while adapting to stressful events through different techniques. There is more companionship, people can experience sharing their grievances and opinions to those strong networks, and at the same time those strong networks through communication also provide support to each other. Now, the idea is that when we are talking about social network, there is also intervention of technological advances where all these kind of support, companionship and control can be achieved. It is when we talk about these social networks, then it sounds very simple, but when it comes to functionality, it requires lot of efforts, and with the inclusion intervention of technology, these social networks are having profound effect not in an individual's personal life or group life, but also in business world, that how people are connecting to each other through sharing of information, through opinions and beliefs, and how even in business worlds are changing their thought process in order to capture the markets. So, let us now further discuss that uh, how technology has contributed in using social networks. So, there are different websites and apps that every user and organizations are connected to. As I mentioned, that people are connected to different kind of technological advancements based on these networks, and how they heal their own problems and the market problems or group level problems based on these technological advancements. So, based on these websites and apps, people tend to connect, they communicate and share information and establish strong relationships with those communities. People connect with others in the same area, families, friends, and that too in the same interest. For example, if I say, and we are very much aware of those websites, for example, Pinterest. Now, this is a business website where people are connected to each other based on this platform, and how people are maintaining their interest. Now, in this kind of social networking, people are sharing their talents, people are communicating with each other, they have established their own community, and how they are tend to gain more information from the other people. So, connection or networking is there with the involvement or intervention of technology. Therefore, social networks are one of the most important uses of the internet today. The different purposes of social networking sites are like how technology is playing a major role to taste or relish the benefits of social networks. So, what is the purpose of technology? To enhance the or expand the expand the uses of social network in different areas of life. Now, these expansions has taken place in terms of social connections, in terms of professional connections, sharing of multimedia, communication, news or information, educational. Now, this is the profound effect of social networks in different areas of life. So, if we talk about social connection, this is a type of social network where people stay in touch with each other. It can be friends, families, business associates, and how in day to day life we tend to communicate with those communities. Now, that community can be of any professional group or it can be one's family, and they find different kind of networks with whom a person can relate to. So, to satisfy these kind of connections, internet has or technology has played a profound role in developing these websites and apps such as Facebook, MySpace or Instagram. So, this is a way to establish a social network and try to adapt to new lifestyles. The other is professional connections. It is all about business market, how people gear up towards professional goals through social networks and are designed in a way that people make new professional connections and enhance their business and explore new opportunities. For example, LinkedIn, Microsoft Yammer or Microsoft Viva. These are the websites and apps which people join these networks, connect with different type of people, find opportunities to enhance their skills and grow in different areas of their own business and gain more novelty in their performances. This is professional connections through social network. The other is sharing of multimedia. Various social networks provide video and photography sharing services including YouTube and Flickr. Different kind of arts, different type of opinions, different types of classes, different types of ideas are being shared in visually aided videos and photography, where people tend to just get informed immediately about any issue. Again, when people are using these platforms, more connection is there. This is about sharing of multimedia. Your talent can be displayed very easily, and you tend to connect to people with whom they who have similar interests and attitudes, and we tend to expand our own social world. This is sharing of multimedia. The other is communication, allowing people to communicate directly with each other. Irrespective to people are in which corner of the world, still people can update, they can post important information, share all the emotions and feelings through technology and through instant messages. This is the role of social network when it comes to maintaining communication. Some examples are WhatsApp, Messenger, WeChat and Snapchat. All these apps enable any person to connect to different kind of people in any corner of the world. This is again maintaining communication, which adds something to an individual's life while adapting to different kind of stressful events, have control and support at the same time. News or informational connection, sharing information, important information, allowing different users to post news, stories, information and how to content and and can be general purpose or dedicated to a single topic. So, these social networks include communities of people who are looking for answers to everyday problems and they have much in common with web forums. For instance, Quora. These are the platforms where information or personal problems can be shared. People come up, they join those forums, they post their different kind of problems they face, be it personal, professional, and people come forward on those platforms while suggesting ways and ideas to enhance their lifestyles, their life and professions. This is news or information, how they share news and information based on posting relevant content. Although every positive, if any technology is being used, it is not only that it has all the positive aspects, definitely if it is being used in a wrong manner, then it has some negative impact as well. But right now we are talking about the significance of social network and role of technology. Then we have educational forums. These are the social networks which offer remote learning, enabling students and teachers to collaborate on social projects, conduct research and interact through blogs and forums. These are the online classrooms where people from remote areas can connect to one particular institute or school and gain maximum information or train themselves through different classrooms, online classrooms, while connecting to people in any corner of the world. So, these are the purpose of social networks, that how people tend to enhance, control and solicit support from people across the globe based on the role of technology in social networks. But at the same time, social networks has a profound effect in the area of business as well. How social networks have helped organizations to expand their business, to modify their products, launch and relaunch their product in the market based on the opinions in form of likes and dislikes about a particular product, and based on that they are earning profits. So, when we are talking about social networks in business, there are many ways in which business or organizations can use social networks. Globally, the average person spends over 2 hours a day during social networks, and whenever we are on any web page, different kind of advertisements pop up on the website. Those advertisements grab customers and people's attention, people get attracted to it, they connect to those products through the websites, and this is how every organization is grabbing market in different areas of the world. So, they represent, or this represents a great opportunity and market for every business and organization. So, most social networks are run for profit companies. They make most of their revenue from selling ads or promoted content. For example, famous parent company Meta has an almost $300 billion market cap. So, based on these technologies, even businesses are adapting these platforms to expand their network, customer network, and gain maximum profit by capturing different categories of the customers. So, this is the role of social network in business, that how organizations are also getting lured towards technology, and how not only publicity, but social networks are playing or contributing profoundly to expand the market and revenues. At the same time, when it is about social networks in business organizations, even those organizations are also trying to recruit people based on social networks itself by posting ads or vacancies on different websites in form of pop-ups, and how people tend to get aware of those pop-ups and tend to approach those organizations. So, such organizations such as Yelp, Pinterest, Rover, Airbnb and many more, these are all websites where business organizations, they have no any physical offices, rather they have virtual offices, and how they are capturing the market based on social networks through the role of technology. Further, it is also used for customer research, engagement and marketing. People connect with businesses and different customers, and a brand is built. So, based on advertisements, customers are engaged, they are attracted towards the product, more revenue is generated through online shopping, and there is a permanent connection with that customer. Later on, so many offers are being shared with those customers. This is social network. So, there is more engagement or capturing of the customers related to the product, and people maintain that connect in order to build a brand image. This is the significance of social network in business and organizations. So, people tend to build a brand in community around themselves and collect information about users, likes and dislikes, and allow extremely targeted advertising. Social media listening allows an organization to learn what people are saying about their company based on the feedback, based on online chatting about the product. People tend to come, organizations tend to understand what is the missing part in the product and what the customer want. Once that connect is being established with a particular customer, the organizations are readily available and also aware about how to make useful changes in the product, build that image and capture the market and keep the customers engaged. So, this is the significance of social networks in business and organizations. At the same time, in very large organizations, people are engaged and very much satisfied. Also, teams become more geographically diverse or have members working from home. Private social networks can promote collaboration and information sharing. With a new hybrid work culture, people are working from remote areas, there is more social networks established for achieving the goals, and people are geographically connected in virtual manner while establishing social networks or building social connect with other members of the team. So, this is the idea of implication of social network not only in any religious or social groups, but social networks have very different implication and profound implication in business organizations as well. At the same time, with the expansion of technological interventions in our life, business networks or social networks are also being used in hiring people for appropriate roles. So, they are beginning to use social networks in their recruitment strategies. For example, artificial intelligence, all these technological aspects are being introduced so as to make the system less biased and transparent in every form. So, this is how social networks along with the role of technology can help build strong networks and enhance business and organizations. So, this was about communication network and social network. That is all for today. I will continue in the next class. Thank you so much.